We're going to bring up our next comic. This guy is hilarious. You've seen him before here at Broadway Comic Club. Put your hands together for Mike VEASY.
Hello, hello. Hello. So I'm at the gym this morning, and I'm trying really hard to do my second pull-up. And I looked down and I realized I was wearing a Superman t-shirt. I just let go and I dropped to the floor. I mean, think about it. I was a meme waiting to happen. People say to me, you go to the gym? I'm like, yes, I go to the gym. You don't get a body like this by just switching a Bud Light. But I go to the gym, I'm obviously not very good at it. I go to the gym, I do the machines, I get frustrated, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't see results, so I just get on the treadmill and I run for an hour. And it doesn't make any sense to go to a gym to run on a treadmill, because the world is full of free treadmills. They're called sidewalks. Anyway, Sunday morning, my daughter borrows my car. She goes out, half hour later, I get a call, Dad, I got a flat tire. She hit a metal grate or something and got a flat tire. I'm like, honey, calm down. I'll be right there. She told me where she was. I said, go into Starbucks. I'll meet you there in half an hour. So I get there, I call AAA, and she's really upset. I'm like, honey, I'll get you a coffee. So I go up to get a coffee. I don't drink coffee. I don't go to Starbucks. But I order my daughter's coffee, and the woman says to me, what's your name? I'm like, my name? You need my name for a cup of coffee? She says, yeah. I'm like, all right, can I give you any name? She's like, yeah. I'm like, all right. Batman. She's like, all right. I'm like, all right. She's like, yeah, all right. So I'm like, oh my God, this is cool. So I walk across the place. It's kind of crowded too. I'm like, this is cool. In a few minutes, they're gonna call Batman for a cup of coffee. And it's gonna be, we're gonna be living in Gotham City for a split second of the universe, Anyway, I'm standing over there, about a minute later I hear, Caramel Macchiato for Batman. I'm like, wow, that was so cool. But as I go to get the coffee, I realize there are a bunch of little kids in the Starbucks. And they're all like this. One little boy ran to the front window. He's like, I think I see the Batmobile. I'm like, oh my God, I'm there in my gray sweatpants, my Mets hoodie, and I'm like, these kids are gonna be so disappointed. But I had to get my daughter's coffee, right? So I just went up, I grabbed the coffee, I turned to the kids and said, sorry gang, it's just Alfred. So did we all enjoy Christmas? I actually enjoyed my Christmas this year. It was bittersweet, because my son moved away. He moved to Denver last year. So it was our first Christmas separated. But went to my in-laws. My daughter said, hey Dad, I'll drive home. So I had a few beers with my brother-in-law, which I can do. I can drink at my wife's family's house. I can't drink with my brothers. My mother says she's sick of making extra food for the responding officers. But I was at my in-laws, had a few beers, I'm feeling pretty good. My daughter drives home, we pull into the driveway, we get out. My daughter says, oh, look, there's a possum. And I look down, I'm like, oh yeah, look at that, there's a possum. But this is where my head was at after those beers. It's Christmas. Shouldn't he be wearing a little hat or something? Because in the Christmas cartoons, all the critters, they got mittens and scarves, Anyway, as I go in the house, my phone rings. It's my son in Denver. Hey, Christopher, how are you? Now my wife yells from outside, don't let the dog out. There's a possum in the yard. I'm like, oh my God, she's right. Yeah, don't let the dog out. So I'm talking to my son. He went skiing. He was telling me about his day. And I'm walking to the house. I wind up in the kitchen. And I'm like, oh, hold on, Chris. The dog wants to go out. That's how long it took me to forget what my wife just said. My daughter later commented how impressed she was, how well the dog had me trained. Anyway, I slide open the door and suddenly it's Armageddon in my yard. My dog corners this possum and she is barking at this possum in a voice I'd never heard before. I mean, she was sounding more like a dragon from Game of Thrones than a dog, I mean, if there is a doggy version of the F word, she was definitely using it. And then my wife starts screaming, my daughter's crying, we all run outside, and I'm trying to think of a way to separate these two animals. I'm like, sit, stay, heel. And meanwhile, I don't even know what the fuck heel means. But there was a glimmer of hope. All of a sudden, everything just stopped. The dog was over here, the possum was over here. I'm thinking, wow, this might wind up okay. Well, it didn't. The dog runs forward, grabbed the possum by the throat and starts twisting it around in the air like a towel on a Pittsburgh Steelers game. Then banging it on the ground and clawing at it. And then my wife was screaming, my daughter's crying, I already told you that. This went on forever until finally the dog just, bam, throws the possum at my feet, this twisted carcass of a possum. And I looked down and all I could think of is, wow, now I'm glad he wasn't wearing a little hat. And the dog looks at me like he's waiting for like a doggy high five. I just grab her, I throw her in the house, and my wife comes running in after me and she says, "You get rid of that possum." Only my wife used the human version of the F word. I'm back in the yard and I'm looking down at this twisted carcass. I'm thinking, I don't want to touch this possum, you know, especially on Christmas night. I was thinking, how do I get rid of a dead possum? All right, I decided, okay, I'll put a garbage bag in a box. I'll put the box over the possum. And then I'll slide a snow shovel under, flip it over, pick up the bag. There you go. Got a dead possum. Or in some states, dinner. So that's exactly what I do. I get a box, I get a garbage bag, I put the box over the possum, I slide the snow shovel under the box, and all of a sudden, boom! The box goes flying. And there, standing in front of me, is a zombie possum. And it just looks up at me and it does it. It literally did this. And it just walked off the way. And I was just so happy because it was Christmas night. My dog wasn't a murderer because this possum decided he'd rather celebrate Easter.